All right, people. What's going on? We're back, and I think we should ought to discuss the proceedings of Manchester United as we delve into the international break and Thomas Tuchel's England's endeavours to winning the World Cup 2026 officially get underway, but he's not started quite the right way with his national team selections. Let's be honest, it's a little bit suspect team selections, like Jordan Henderson featuring in that team, and Kyle Walker, and loads of other people that not really are informed players, are they? They are sort of how do we put it? Favourites of the FA. So maybe there's something to be said about Thomas Tuchel being another um, English FA puppet. Maybe there is conversations to be had about this. But one thing that is undeniable is that something is been getting Manchester United team to tick in the last few games, prominently starting with Arsenal, and it's sort of built up as we've gone on from there. In the lot, well, for a team that's really struggled with goals, the last two games, right, we've scored seven and conceded one, which was a penalty. We've in the last three games, we've conceded only one open play goal while scoring 8 goals. Uh, three of them set pieces. Um, but it's like it's a staged transition where we've gone from going into the Arsenal game as like, oh no, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? To walking into the international break saying, can we play the next team then? Can we start playing the next game? What about the next game and the next game? Well, I think one thing's for sure, one thing's for certain. I think Manchester United in the modern day do issue a lot of false dawns, right? Teams within the past decade have definitely made people drink some Kool-Aid and think, yeah, it's all going to be spectacular now. It never is. It never really is. It sort of gets you into the swing of things, and then a couple of days later, the reality check hits you, and then you're straight back down to square one. However, whilst we can't expect this Man United team to do anything significant, maybe it is figuring something out to keep its head just above water and basically just sail the rest of the season. I wouldn't say um, thrive the rest of the season, but just sail along, just gently, without rocking the waters too much, and get players who barely score goals scoring goals. I mean, a couple of things we noticed recently. Bruno Fernandes has gone to the sort of form that he had in his early days of joining the club. Um, he's just been dominant with the GA, the goals and assists, constantly all over them. Um, Rasmus Højlund on Sunday's game against Leicester found the back of the net. So that's a drought breaking goal right there. And Xerxes is becoming more set in motion with the 10 position. Um, is just doing his business. Aiden Heaven, which really bloody annoyingly ended up getting injured in this game because he was starting to really get his flowers. Not being some crazy outstanding performer, but just really showing that mature head with that little bit of a spark of energy and excitement. that you sometimes get with younger players in the team. It's like the fresh bloods, the young bloods, just really carrying the energy levels of the senior team, and it sort of brings up levels because sometimes senior players before have looked at younger players come into the team and they've said you see this young kid break out onto the scene and he's just doing all of these crazy things. It makes you feel that little bit of extra energy. You're like, oh, I'll show this kid how it's really done, and it sort of feeds back and forth, right? It rallies the energy quite nicely throughout the team, but unfortunately, we are a cursed team. Curse strikes again in the early stages of the second half, and he ends up having to go off with an injury. It's yet again that's basically the depth has just been cleared out again. So we probably may have to deal with. I mean, to be fair, we are now in the international break, so there's about 2 weeks worth of time plus a few more days to sort of get some more players back to fitness. And quite a few names have been touted for international duty, but then have been turned away at the last second. Um, so there's various positive aspects we can say about that. Um, but from what I've seen or heard, the Aiden Heaven injury looked bad at the time, needed to be stretchered off, but walked out of the King Power Stadium with nothing but just a protective boot on. So I don't know if it's going to result in further surgeries being needed for it at all. Probably just a really big sprain or a strain injury, and it's just got to, stay off of it for a few days and let it recuperate, and then sort of give it a light bit of physio, and then sort of slowly get you back into the full-fledged business, the full-fledged actions and exercising. Um, which, if that's the case, then hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be in a good position. Harry Amas getting minutes in the game came on for Garnacho in the 69th minute and gave us again a lot of energy, a lot of anticipation. I won't say promise, but anticipation. A lot of people have been calling since pre-season. Give Amas the minutes. Why play Diogo Dallo when Amas is available? And just reasonable questions, especially when you've had players in the wing back positions absolutely stinking out the gaff. What harm is it really going to do giving some game time here or there for younger players and just telling them, mate, don't play like you've got the world on your shoulders. Play like you could give less of a toss about the pressure, and you're just there to do the job and to express yourself. Um, so yeah, I think there's quite a few noteworthy positives um, from the game against Leicester. Of course, they had the fair share of possession. Ruud van Nistelrooy, football for you, but conceding goals for fun. 11 shots, 3 on target. De Ligt was quite a massive performer in the game also. I think stopped a certain goal when Vardy had broken away. All he needed, he could have really gone for goal himself, but he decided to go for the setup for the easier finish. But De Ligt was just like, no, I'm not going to get sucked into that challenge. In fact, I'm going to turn around and then slide straight across the shooting path of the next player. And he did just that and blocked the shot. So the fact that this other player who's getting teed up was sat there just like, oh, why? It summed the moment up. It's just like, how is De Ligt going from marking this guy to clocking my shot? Like he pretty much ran through the pass went through his blind spot. The player that went for the shot was always going to have the free shot, but just the fact that he got blocked at the end of the day. Um, and he was just head and hands. He just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But Fernandes had a strong performance, 2 assists and a goal. Um, and to be fair, the third goal set up by Dalot. Again, you see what happens when you get a wing back that can cross a ball. And this is the thing. Premier League, come on, teams, 20 Premier League teams, you should be able to cross a ball with tenacity, pace, whip, and accuracy. There's loads of factors to a cross that players in this league should be able to do, but we just don't see it. We really just don't see it. But where you get players with width, whip the cross in, use the target players, the target men in the middle, whether you play it, behind the defence or whether you play it in front of the defence, whichever side it goes. Dalot played the cross straight into Fernandes, who just took it first time, and it just bent into far post, and it's a excellent finish. Really, really good finish. So yeah, I can't have it. I can't have any complaints. I think all round, I think the team did relatively well. I think Ericsson, barring his shot, very quiet, very, very quiet. Um, and I think Dalot a couple of times in possession. Bit frustrating to watch. But everyone else sort of did okay. I think Chido as well. I think we need to see more. We need to see more minutes in a game for Chido to really to find significant impact. So yeah, I think that's probably got to be in the mind of Ruben Amorim, who I think himself has just sort of looked at the situation and gone, maybe playing these kids is not really going to hurt me that much more than trying to play experienced teams was hurting me in an embarrassing way. So, and to be fair, some of the younger players that are playing are actually doing a pretty good job with all things considered. So keep it going is what I'd say. Keep it going. But we've got an international break to have to stomach, trying to watch Jordan Henderson keep up with players again. And a couple of other players. I mean, Morgan Gibbs-White should be there. I mean, Angel Gomez could be there. I don't know if James Maddison picked. Did Maddison get picked? No. So Maddison didn't get picked. Curtis Jones, not too sure why he's there. Eberechi Eze, can sort of see that. The defenders, no Fikayo Tomori again. Don't know why. Don't know why Miles Lewis Skelly is featured there. I genuinely don't know why. It's not to shit on him per se, but I mean, come on, there were better options. There were better options to playing in the defensive positions. Forwards, Marcus Rashford hasn't really set the world alight at Aston Villa on his loan deal, but there he is, just selected again. Unless it's a case that with Thomas Tuchel, he sort of feels like, oh, but I believe that I can get the purple patch out of Marcus Rashford again. I believe I can do it, and it's I suppose it's a lot of managers that have that sort of ego aspect about them, where they just feel like, oh well, I will be the one to make the difference, but then they never really do. It always ends up just another failed experiment repackaged. Um, but yeah, the team selections for the England national team. To me, that ain't it. That ain't it for me. So, so yeah, that's kind of the thing with the English national team. But let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got in his locker. In other news, um, aside from the 1 million transfer stories that we've had coming out, conveniently timed at the same time of press releasing the rise in ticket prices, season ticket prices, an extra £2.50 per game, I think is what they say the costs work out at, and it's like, so why the why is it that the statement is that, oh well, with all of the sackings, with all of the you know the slimlining of the project, it's all about trying to save money or cut costs. Um, they're also mentioning about increasing the how expensive the operation costs of the club are. So you're sacking people, so your staff limit goes down, but your costs are going up still. I mean, that to me doesn't really add up. That really doesn't add up. But you say that it's the right decision to go and increase the season ticket prices, and the fact that most people would have told you, do not increase ticket prices. This is a bad move. You still went and did it anyways. What you should be thinking about is, why don't we put money into the club, or the ownership should think about that. The why don't we put money back into the club? What happened to that? What happened to you know balancing out the financial situation, rather than saying, hey, we may have run the club into the ground. How about we get the fans um, to pay for the mistakes? It's like, if you crash, if you borrow someone else's car, right? You borrow someone else's car, you're just like, don't worry, I'll treat it really nicely and I'll look after it. You decide, I'm going to consciously get really, really drunk and then get behind the wheel. So you drink drive, crash it into something, right, and leave it there. But what you do is you go back to the person whose car it belongs to. You go and tell them, I crashed your car, mate. It looks quite bad, but you're okay with paying for it, right? And he will say, I'm not okay with paying it because you drove it. You got drunk and you drove the car, you crashed it. Your responsibility, right? After you promised you wouldn't. But no, 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 no. I'm not paying for it. You're paying for it. It's that sort of relationship with the fans as well. You know, the fans yet again get made to be treated like shit, and we go nowhere as a football club. We really go nowhere as a football club, and the fan base yet again. And we've already had one protest, and the situation hasn't gotten any better. Now you've pledged to make it worse with further ticket price increases, and no one's here for it. No one's here for it at all. So, yeah, again, tagline, tagline, cleaning us out. But they know that it's a very bitter subject. The ownership know that's the case, because now we're linked to loads and loads of players, all of which we are not going to sign. We can't sign them. It's not possible. They've already issued the mission statement over finances. Oh, it's not possible. You can't spend money. We've got to keep selling and keep shrinking the workforce to compensate. Well, why are you trying to get media outlets to link us to players that we'd have to spend about 80 to 100 million pound on? Why are we doing this? Or not just that, but players that we probably have to exorbitantly overpay. It's not going to work. It really isn't going to work. So, for example, here's one for you right now. Manchester United have told Barcelona that they're willing to pay 50 million euros for a long-term target for Frenkie de Jong. Why is that ever gonna? Why is that ever gonna happen? Why is that ever gonna happen? It's not. It's never gonna happen. It's just an absolute nothing story, as is every other transfer story we see. Every single one. The only transfer story we had going for us that actually had, reasonability behind it was the Quenda one. But, apparently George Mendes was just like, ooh, well, Chelsea got a better offer. And I think the Chelsea scheme will land me in way more money long term than it would ever if I were to get my agent to sign for United. So they ended up sort of backhanding United and going, oh, well, we're going to go to Chelsea now. So Quenda gets to continue another year of development at Sporting before making the jump to Chelsea. So, and also the more money is being paid in the deal that Man United were going to agree to. So, there is basically Man United. It begins. Other clubs outbidding Man United to get their targets, and Man United can't do anything about it. So there's the reality. I don't think it's a case that Man United just can't attract people, but all these other clubs can just talk the language that players kind of low-key want to hear. And, there you go. As easy as that. So, issues. We've got issues. So have the boardroom. Big time issues. But let me know what you guys think. Whether you agree that there's something in the water with this, with Amorim's team. Do we think that there is something to be said about Amorim's Reds, or is it just they just so happen to have a couple of good games and it's back to normal settings after the international break? And what do you guys think about the ticket price increase? Do you think it's justified, or do you think it's just another way to piss off the fan base even more, but to guarantee you get more money? That's what it feels like to me. Put your thoughts and your feelings down in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Back again tomorrow with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it should be an interesting one. See what conversations we have going forwards. So take care, people. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday nights, and we'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Until then, stay safe, take care, and God bless.